welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Madison. I do tarot and oracle card readings, and I also implement some astrology as well. Today's video is going to be about the full moon in Aquarius and kind of like what type of rituals we can get into, what type of things we can release or complete, and things like that. We'll just kind of like see where spirit guides us while I record this video. I would like to go ahead and share that I created a website and it's out now. There will be a coinciding post with this video that you can go to and complete journal prompts if you would like. I have kind of my notes from the blog post right here, so I'm just going to kind of read from it. Whenever you go to the blog post later, it'll all be written out there as well in case you want to go back and check what happened, or if you're like a visual learner, you know, things like that. And it would be an opportunity, you know, for you to kind of like journal and get your rituals like more set in stone. You know, that's kind of like my vision behind this is like, as I do my rituals, as I figure out what exactly it is that I feel I need to do, I'll create these posts and these journal prompts for you guys to go along on the journey with me, especially if you're going through similar things. So the link will be in the description. So just go ahead and check it out. It's called Writing Spiritually, because a big part of my life has always been about writing. I've always felt that I was a writer, even when I was a little girl, you know, I've always been writing. And through this spiritual journey, I've been drawn more to, you know, tarot, spirit, astrology. These were all things I was interested in when I was a lot younger, but I kind of got scared, so I went away from it and I did other things and I kind of rejected it. It made me stop writing, things like that. A few of you guys know about the toxic situation I was living in before, and through that time I completely stopped writing. It wasn't the first time in my life I've ever stopped writing, but it was definitely kind of like a repeat. Like it was like, I'm here again. Why? You know, why am I so miserable? Why am I in these relationships where people talk down to me and treat me badly and purposefully misunderstand me? When someone is determined to misunderstand you, that person is not on your team, you know? And that's something I had to learn because I have always had to experience that. And then literally when I started looking into astrology and my chart and my life path number and things like that, that's whenever I started to realize that it was like, oh, I've always been kind of being led to this, you know? I'm really glad too that I did have kind of a little bit of a support system. Like my mom has always believed in me. She used to make decisions based on my dreams and stuff like that. She always supported my writing. I think her and my dad and a lot of people worried about like what I would do for income. And I still worry about that too, because there's not much in our society that fits in for creatives, you know? But I still end up finding myself here, you know, over and over and over again. I've tried to do other things. I've tried to work full-time work doing something else, and I have done things successfully, but it always ends up being like I'm living my life for someone else, you know? So that's a lot of like kind of what I'm going through right now, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate with like, what are you being drawn to? Where do you feel like you keep ending up, you know, over and over and over again? How is that a part of your life path, you know? One of the journaling prompts I have is about looking for Aquarius in your chart. So this will be able to help you kind of like figure out where exactly you are meant to learn lessons at this time and stuff you can kind of take stock on it in that way, if that makes sense. And I'll do the journaling prompt too, especially on the full moon. I'm going to do some rituals. So you guys won't be alone with that. Okay. So for those of you who have watched me before, you know the drill. For those of you who are watching me for the first time, thanks for sitting through that introduction. You know, it's just a little bit more of like me putting more groundwork into what I'm doing. But what we do for these full moon and new moon videos is I will read some notes about what we're supposed to do and what we're, you know, kind of like what the focus is for this cycle. And then we'll pull cards from spirit so we can just get messages as a collective for what we should be focusing on, where our rituals need to go, what areas in our life, like compared to what's going to happen during the full moon kind of thing. If you missed my August 2020 predictions video, just go check it out on my channel. I talk a little bit about what's going to be happening in August, but basically big unpredictable things. I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts today, Blame It on the Stars. Look them up on Spotify. And they were talking about how Mars will be squaring Mercury, and apparently that means impulsive communication, like kind of like outbursts, angry outbursts, fighting, arguing, and then feeling immense shame afterwards. So that's just kind of something too for you guys to remember to keep in mind over the next month. So don't like hate yourself because you didn't keep perfect composure, you know, like because you got upset or something like that. Do hold yourself accountable and apologize to the person you lost your temper with, but you don't need to go into a shame spiral over it or anything like that. Like, it happens, you know. So just a little reminder for that. So let's go ahead and get into these notes, and then we'll start pulling cards. If you want to skip ahead at any point in the video, like if you want to go straight to the cards, that's totally fine. I'll have the timestamps below. So let's get into it. Okay, August 3rd will be the full moon in Aquarius for 2020. And it will be a time to embrace your individuality, independence, and new and unique experiences. So it's a time to kind of like embrace your Aquarius side, Aquarius part of yourself. That's why it'll be important to look it up in your chart. Don't turn down any opportunities during this time that will benefit you in the long run. We are meant to embrace things that will move us forward and let go of situations that have not been serving us for a while. So now is the opportunity for us to really let things go, release the energy of things that have not been working for you. This could be a dramatic end, or this could, you know, just be like a mutual ending. Whatever it is that, you know, you kind of need. From my Moonology cards, the message behind the full moon in Aquarius is to show the world the real you. So during this full moon, let's allow our true selves to be shown and not worry so much about what other people think of us. Be yourself in your relationships if you've been finding that you've been too distant lately. Like if you're kind of afraid of rejection, so you're kind of being distant, allow this time to kind of like be a little bit more of your true self. We don't need to overwhelm ourselves with worrying about if we are showing too much of our true selves to others. Right? You guys, we were conditioned to not embrace our true selves, and this is based on other people who have suffered their own traumas, and they did not feel safe being their true self. So when they see somebody being their true selves, they're going to shame that person, make them feel bad about themselves, ostracize them, things like that. So it's very, very important for you to kind of like keep hold of what is true to you and not let anybody shame you or talk you down. Their rejection, if it comes, has more to do with them than it does with you. When we are not in tune with our true selves, we can be envious of others who fit into themselves so easily. Aquarius people can often get grief from others when they are confidently independent. Many of us want to be that way. So when we are at a low vibration and feeling down on ourselves, we might talk down to somebody being their truest self. Avoid doing this and recognize that others might be doing this for that reason. Okay. So what I'll be pulling for today is kind of like, how can we let go of things that are no longer serving us, right? And then how can we allow our true selves to kind of shine? So we'll kind of pull messages on that. I have a new tarot deck with me today, so I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Let's pull messages from here first. Okay, kind of center here we have 9 of Wands. The astrology message here is Moon in Sagittarius. So a lot of people with this placement feel kind of like their emotions kind of come in like short bursts and just kind of like appear, but then they're able to get over things pretty easily. And I feel like this comes too with like that sense of pride. Here it says Lord of Great Strength. So it's important for us to kind of like recognize that we have done the work to get to where we are at this point, and to kind of like hold our boundaries with that and not allow anybody in and allow anybody to hurt us. So for letting go, I feel like for a lot of us, we need to let go of people who feel like they need to push and like, you know, continuously make us feel bad, put us down, things like that. It's a lot harder to let go of long-term friendships or family relationships where you've been conditioned to receive this treatment from this person for a long period of time, maybe most of your life. So it's kind of time to let go, not necessarily in the relationship, but let go of the hold that they do have on you, because it's not serving you. I have 8 of Swords here too, so this tells me that for some of you guys, you feel like what's going on with you is inescapable. Like it's just, you're trapped, nothing good can come of it, you know? But yeah, almost like you're putting limitations on yourself so that you feel like you can't move out of your situation. But it's important for you to recognize that what you have done to get to this point is so crucial. It's a part of, you know, your journey. So you need to like protect that and recognize that there are other options for you. You don't have to keep living the same way you've been living. So some of the things you have learned so far. that have to do with emotions. They have to do with like what you've been doing for the internal work for yourself, things like that. I feel like it's important for you to share what you've learned with other people. And if you get some resistance from them, that's okay. Just say your piece. Like, don't be pushy about it, because we don't like when people are pushy with us too, right? Like, sometimes you're just in a headspace where you can't see what's logical, and it doesn't really matter what someone says to you, right? It doesn't really, at the end of the day, you still think what you think until you figure out for yourself, oh, I was wrong, you know? So just have patience with other people. And also put yourself first. Like, make sure that you are taking care of yourself first. Do the things that are creative for you, things that help you feel love for yourself, you know? Here we have connects wisdom to understanding. If you guys want to see the cards, it's really cool. There's like little notes all over it. But we have connects wisdom with understanding. So it's important for us to use like what we have learned about like protecting our energy and stuff and things like that to kind of like embrace ourselves more. And we also have Page of Pentacles here too. So it is important too for us to kind of learn new things. We're having to adjust to a completely different way of life, you know, since the pandemic happened, our economy's failing, all these things. Yeah, just so you guys know, I'm not like, I do believe in positivity. I believe in the power of positivity, but I don't think that all things are positive. I think that happiness and suffering are equal importance. So I feel like it's important for us to kind of like adjust and recognize that things are different. Our lives are not going to be the same as they were like pretty much ever again. So it's important for some of you guys to figure out how exactly you can create stability in your life. Here's Page of Pentacles. How exactly can you like change what you're doing in order to create like more stability where you're not so dependent on, let's say, the government or your job or something like that, you know? And I know that's very difficult because we do live in an economy where, you know, money is the source, you know? Money is constantly moving, but it's something that comes and goes. So we need to not like have so much attachment to money. And I know it's hard because I do it too. It's like this fear that like if I don't have money, I'm not gonna be able to like afford to live or do anything to live. But I feel like what we need to do as a collective is come together as a community and start helping take care of each other. Like everybody has their own skills. So, and I feel like that was like stripped away with the way that we live. So I feel like it's important for us now to kind of like start reaching out with people and figuring out a community and start like supporting your friends. Like if you have a friend who has chickens and they're selling eggs, go buy eggs from them, you know, and they may even be open to exchanging goods, you know, like just whatever it is that they need. What are their needs and what are your needs, you know? And it might be important to kind of start like figuring that out instead of depending so much on financial stability. Okay, I pulled 3 cards from my moon deck. And we have, my dreams reveal that magic is real and anything is possible. So let's pay attention to our dreams around this time and figure out, and that can mean like dreams as in like what you want to happen in the future or literally what you dream about. I've been having extremely vivid dreams lately, and I've just been like kind of accepting that. I think that that's just spirit communicating with me a bit more. Sometimes I'm too tired to actually analyze it, but I feel like it could be important for some of us to start like a dream journal or something like that. I am of the earth in harmony with nature. So let's try not to steer too clear of, you know, the earth and going outside and embracing the earth and things like that. Let's not stay too cooped up inside or too focused on things that are out of our control or something that takes like a long-term effort, you know, like don't like try to do it all today. Like just kind of like take small steps. My community is supportive, loving, and active in the world. So this is an affirmation we all need to start sharing. Like we need to start being part of a community. We need to start supporting each other. We need to start helping each other. And we are, okay, this is my personal belief system. We are a collective. We are all sharing the human experience. We all suffer from the human condition. So whenever we focus way too much on being individualized, we're separating ourselves from others. We're creating an other. And when we do this, when we focus way too much on individuality, we're not looking out for other people. We're not helping other people. And therefore, people do not help us, you know? So it needs to be an important like give and take with the people around you. Like try to find people who are on that same vibration as you, because some people won't be. Some people are individuals. Like they completely ignore the collective, and then they blame others for their suffering, whenever it's like you are literally denying what your experience in the world is. We are a collective, and we're social creatures. We depend and we thrive in a group and in a society. And right now, because especially in the US, I'm not sure, about all over the world, but that individualism is creating an us versus them, a me against the world like mentality that is kind of tearing us apart. So we have to remember that our community, start manifesting that our community is supportive, loving, and active. Let's manifest it. Let's start figuring out what exactly it is that we can start doing. We don't have to have all the answers now. I don't, it's just something I think about a lot. Okay, these cards from my Moonology deck kind of reaffirm a little bit of what I was saying, because we have new moon eclipse, and this is expect powerful change. Things are changing. It's changing all around us. We can't control it, right? So we have to embrace the change and go with the flow. We can't try to keep things the way that they were, because literally that's just not going to happen. So, if we expect the change, then we're able to go with the flow and figure out how, we need to be adaptable, And I know that can be hard. I also have a lot of fixed placements in my chart, if you do as well, and it's very difficult to kind of accept that things are always changing. I definitely resist change. It takes me weeks to adjust to something different. And it is a lot of sadness and letting go and recognizing that things can't stay the same. It's a whole thing I have to go through. And you probably have your own process too of how you deal with change. Some people, real quick, they can do it, but other people, they really struggle. So honor yourself as you're, letting go of old things. Allow yourself to mourn what you're losing, because once that is gone from your life, it creates new opportunities for you. You might not have the time or energy or anything for that previous thing, but now something new will open itself to you, and we're meant to constantly change and learn and adapt. We also have Cardinal Moon here. Be bold and make the first move. So figure out in some way how you can start making the moves into creating what exactly it is that you want. Let's say community-wise or family-wise, Let's start being active and being what can we do to start making changes? What can we do to figure stuff out? Mercury is going into Virgo at the end. Actually, not even at the end, just in a few weeks. And that's going to cause a lot of our communication to be a little bit more about the other, which is good, because I was just saying, we're way too about ourselves. So it'll be important for us to start figuring out how we can help others, how we can reach out to others, how we can communicate. But there's also going to be some perfectionism there. So kind of try to reel it in and make sure that you're not doing things to appear give yourself a break, if that makes sense. Allow yourself to, do efforts, do little things. Allow yourself small wins. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Allow yourself small wins so that you have the opportunity to open yourself up to these different changes, things you're meant to learn, and ways to get yourself out of a fearful mindset. I pulled a few more cards here. So how I was talking about earlier about the community, right? I just got a few more cards that kind of continuously represent that. We have King of Pentacles. So it's important for us to recognize and be open and accepting of financial abundance. I also have here the Six of Coins reversed. So that tells me that for some of you guys, it's important for you to allow yourself to be open to accepting help from others. We were just talking about that, right? Reaching out to our community. So I feel for some of you guys, you're going to be able to meet somebody in your life. Let's say this is a father figure, or somebody that you can trust who's very stable, and this is going to be somebody that it would be okay to ask for help from. Just kind of talk about your situation with them, see if you can figure something out. I've been doing a lot more career-based readings for some clients, and a lot of things that keep popping up for people is asking for help, asking for advice, talking to somebody close to you. We're going to have to really start with that community mindset. So let's stop being individual, and let's stop making what is our problem something that we don't want to burden others with. We have such this mentality in our society to be this way. Pretty much every single person in my family has been sick, in the hospital, afraid they're going to die, and didn't tell a single family member. And that's on both sides of my family. And my family is completely separate in the United States. Half of them live in Florida, half of them live in Texas. And on both sides, there have been multiple family members who will be in the hospital, diagnosed with something, going through chemo by themselves, going through whatever it is that they need to do completely by themselves, will not tell a single soul. And then after they've recovered, they'll be like, yeah, I was super sick. I just like didn't want to burden you or bother you. And it's like, what? We're your family. We want to know when something is happening to you. Why do you feel like you have to shoulder things on your own? And I think that my family is not the only Americans that do this. People probably do it around the world. I can't speak for other countries. But it seems to be an American mindset not to bother other people with what you have going on whenever what you need in those moments is a community. If you are in the hospital, you need somebody watching over you because mistakes happen. You know, nurses and doctors are overworked, understaffed. Things happen. You need somebody there who is able to be like, wait, no, she's allergic to this medication. You know, like you need somebody there to watch over you. So if you try to shoulder everything by yourself, you are seeing yourself as an individual who is separate from all others, who does not deserve a community, who does not deserve sharing, peace, all of these things. Release that. It does not serve you. It does not serve you in this life to continue to try and strive against things completely alone, to just go at it completely alone. We are social creatures. We are a collective. We thrive on working together. Please release that mindset, and let's work on that for the full moon in Aquarius. Let's work on releasing that mindset of it is just me against the world, because it is not true. Okay? Sorry to get like super like mom on you guys, but I just felt really compelled to share that because like so many people suffer in silence, you know? So many people have mental illnesses, so many people have chronic illnesses, and so many people suffer in silence. They are too afraid to reach out because we have been conditioned to have any sort of weakness is seen as a negative thing. And it's possible for us to be ostracized and shamed from our society. We need to stop that. Generational trauma is way too serious. Too many people have anxiety. Too many people have like deep-seated depression. And a lot of this comes from generational trauma. So let's be the ones to stop the cycle. Let's be the ones for the next generation to make them feel as if they are okay as their true selves. Okay? Let's try not to make people perform or be a false self or embrace our false selves. Let's let the false self go. You know? I'll get off of my high horse on that. Okay, I have for a lot of you guys too we were talking before releasing the financial dependence. Okay, let's work on releasing that. I know it's very difficult. I work on it like constantly because it's very hard. Like whenever you've like always lived in poverty, you have a poverty mindset. You have an idea that you will never have enough. So you constantly have to deal with this idea that you aren't going to have it. And that causes like big things to come up. Like if you notice anytime that you're like, wow, I have a lot of money, I hope nothing happens to it, your car breaks down. And you're like, great, all my savings are gone. I've heard from so many spiritual leaders to think of money as energy that just comes and goes, not to put so much effort into it. I even read a book the other day where they talked about that too, like about the poverty slave. And you can believe or not believe what you want. That's totally fine. But if you are in a desperate situation, you'd want to try anything, right? So it's important for us to try to do those things and try to be open to it. Please don't try not to just like block it off and be like, oh, that's just bullcrap. Like we really have to work to move up, you know? We really have to like allow it into our lives, believe that we deserve it, things like that. Okay. And then I also have 10 of Wands reversed here too. So this tells me for a lot of you guys, you're at the end of something, like something fiery and creative that's happened for you. And it's kind of time for you to start something new. Like maybe you're getting burned out on this creative project that you've been doing, or maybe you just feel like you're not like moving forward with it. It's okay to kind of like put it down and put it to the side and start something new. You know, the work you did wasn't a waste of work, because many times creative work we do can spark new creative ideas, you know? I had an idea to turn my paintings into oracle cards, so I started like doing more paintings, and then through that I decided actually to different cards. I have some astro cards that are going to come in the mail. I'll share pictures with you guys and stuff. But yeah, through doing so much because it took me months. I did months of these paintings. And then literally I worked on the cards for pretty much an entire day. Like I woke up at 1 a.m., couldn't sleep, and just worked on it all the way through to like the next evening. And I feel like it was like a really good thing, and I feel like it like all the other work I had done led me to that idea. So that other work wasn't wasted. It's just on the side right now. So allow yourself like the opportunity to work on new projects. Don't like limit yourself by being like, no, I can't start anything new until I finish those other two things that I obviously am struggling to work on, you know? What I have for some of you, this card is like popping out to me the most, is the healer. So I feel like a few of you guys that are watching me are healers. I think that makes sense because of the type of content I produce. It's so much about shadow work and internal work, and most of the people who are trying to do the internal and shadow work are people who see themselves as healers. You know, you feel like you're meant to help others, but how can we help others whenever we're so limited and stuck and can't feel like can escape our own problems, you know? So definitely like spirit sees you guys, that some of you guys are healers, and that's wonderful. It's important, you know. Healers work in all types of positions, you know, as long as it's something that's helping others, and that is so important for the collective. We've talked so much about the collective and that individualism. I mean, yes, we are meant to embrace our individualism with the full moon in Aquarius, but I think that's more of like a symbol of like embracing your unique self, not necessarily dividing yourself from others, because we don't want to create a separation between us and others. But it is important for you to embrace your unique gifts and to show your true self. So that's more of what I think of whenever I think of individualism when it comes to Aquarius and it comes to the full moon. I just want to make that clear because I realized earlier I said that it was important for individualism, and then we've talked about like dismantling individualism. But I want you guys to get a little bit more clear of an idea of what it is that I mean when I say these things, so that there's no confusion, you know? But we also have intuition here too. So it's important for a lot of you guys to follow your intuition whenever it comes to navigating this stuff. It's right here with the dreams card from earlier. My dreams reveal that magic is real and anything is possible. And it's also with the I am of the earth and in harmony with nature. It's also with the Empress card over here. So it is just important for us to embrace the wisdom that we do have internally and allow it to guide us. So listen to your dreams. Attempt to navigate your dreams. Figure out what exactly the message is that you're meant to learn or you're meant to hear. We have manifestation as well. And this is with sharing your emotions with people and a new way of allowing abundance into our lives. It's time to manifest some of that stuff. So let's figure out during the full moon how exactly we can embrace and manifest stronger relationships with people and a more stable, secure future for ourselves, you know? And that doesn't necessarily have to be financially. This could be health-wise. This could be just like your home environment. This could be your mental health, like things to work on that you can manifest, and things that can be shared with others, things that are their wisdom. We're sharing wisdom at this point, right? I have bound here, and it's also with that 8 of Swords. It's like double telling me that you guys feel trapped, and that makes sense. You're not alone. Like, what's going on in the world is terrifying, and a lot of us like don't know what's going to happen in the next few months, you know? Like, we have no idea. So it's important for us to kind of like make our home a sacred space. Be proud of your home. I know many people are going to be experiencing evictions and homelessness. So home doesn't necessarily have to be a place where you actually live. Home can be a way that you feel. Home can be the people that you trust and you're around, you know, like definitely like create sacred space and sacred energy with what you feel makes you feel at home at this time. And that'll be something to embrace. It'll be important to embrace our true selves at this time. I mentioned this earlier, so I'm going to mention it again, of course, because another card popped out about it. But we have changed one thing today, start small. So allow ourselves small wins. And don't expect everything to change tomorrow. You know, like there's so much going on. and externally that we cannot control. So it's important for us to just like focus on like small things. I also have practice feng shui, create a sacred space. So I was literally just talking about creating sacred spaces for ourselves. And embrace your inner divine goddess. Let's embrace our true selves right now, guys. Let's allow abundance in. Allow yourself to be intimate with others. Allow yourself to be open to love and acceptance and things like that. Let's embrace our community as well. That's so much of like the messages I'm getting here. I know that Aquarius is a lot of rebellious energy. It's wanting to be kind of like different, you know, and being unique and stuff like that. But each one of us is unique. So it's important to embrace your unique skills. And then we can share them with others, you know? So I feel like it's very important for you to figure out what exactly it is deep inside that you're drawn to do. And how can you make it happen, you know? Like, I'm getting the feeling in my head that some of you guys want to teach and some of you guys want to work in the medical field, but maybe you don't have the educational background. So I'm thinking maybe look into how you can get that done. There are grants you can do. You can get FAFSA and do loans. I know that like a lot of us don't want debt, but it's also important too for us to be living a life where we feel like we're doing what we're meant to do. So it might be important to kind of like take that leap and figure out what exactly it is that you can do to secure this for yourself. Okay, I pulled a few ritual deck cards. So we have green here, and that's with that earth again. Life, renewal, and prosperity for green candles. So for some of you guys, it might be important to try to embrace that part of your life. Also, if you have a green candle, maybe burn it on the full moon. We also have orange candle too. So vitality, attraction, and expression. That's over here with making that first move and creating a sacred space. So it might be important for you to figure out how exactly it is that you can create a space that's, you know, meant for you or meant for the people in your life that you want to feel comfortable. I keep getting the feeling, like the sense to say, like, create, like I keep on getting this community thing over and over again. I feel like some of you guys have an idea of how you can embrace your community, and it's time to kind of like to get started on that. Like, whatever it is that's your idea about like what you think that the community needs, it might be important for you to start like taking the first steps to make something happen. But you know, that's totally up to like what your energy is. Because I know myself, I struggle with stuff like that. Like, I'm like, you know what we need in this community? This. But then like I don't ever actually do anything about it, you know? So it's up to you of like what you feel comfortable with and how you can express yourself in that way. We have black feather here, so warning, quiet, and loss. We are suffering from a lot of loss right now, right? It's making us feel trapped. It's making us feel that everything we defend and everything we have in our lives is being stripped away from us and taken away. And then I have for directions here east, which is beginnings, transmission, and intelligence. This is with that expect powerful change over here. Okay. These are all the cards I have for you guys. So for those of you who have been, you know, keeping up, if you're like taking notes or something, definitely like start analyzing exactly what kind of steps you can make in your life to start embracing different things, new opportunities, you know, things that have to do with the community, things that have to do with embracing and connecting with other people. I think during this full moon time for us in the collective, us who shared this sacred space together, it's important for us to figure out how we can manifest safety in our future and how we can show our unique selves and how we can use our own skills in whatever way we can to reach out to others, to help others, whatever it is that you have that's your, you know, thing. And then also reach out to people who are doing things for the community, you know, and ask, how can I help, you know, and in what ways can I help? And I feel like that'll be really important for us, like, coming up. And let's please release the idea that we are enemies against each other. You know, there's so much politically of like, right? Red versus blue, Republican versus Democrat in the US. Sorry if you're watching from another country. But all of that stuff is it's all teams, you know? It's all like, it's made politics like sports, you know? And it's less about like actually helping people. It's less about like the community. And it's so much more about what can we take away from the other side. And we have to stop thinking that way. We have to stop thinking about how we can limit the other side. And remember that we all live in a collective space, and we all need to be able to feel that type of safety. This story randomly popped into my head, but I had a disagreement with this guy like maybe a year or so ago, I don't remember. But we were talking about this person who went onto somebody else's property and was harassing them. He was focusing on the fact that he was trying to defend that man's right to harass that person. I kept asking him, why do you feel the need to defend harassment? You know, why do you want to live in a world where you can be harassed at any moment, or that you feel like you should have the right to harass somebody else? Why is that your reality? You know, and that could be something to kind of ask people or wonder or look at around you, because there's so many people who want their right to harass, belittle, talk down to other people. They want that right to be defended. They want to feel entitled to it. So in some way in their lives, they feel lack, they feel fear, and they think that creating this me versus the world mentality will be what will fulfill them, whenever really it comes from the self. It doesn't come from putting other people down. So just kind of a story that popped into my head a little bit, because I know we all deal with people who are like this, people who believe it's so important to ensure that they have the right to inflict pain onto others, you know? So let's be wary of people like that. Let's watch out for ourselves, because a lot of people are going to be impulsive. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be fighting. So just kind of like look out for yourself. Look out for your neighbor, you know, look out for the people around you. Offer help when you can. Accept help when you need it. And, you know, let's continue to work through this. This is a very tough time, a very hard time, and seek out any type of mental health things that you can. YouTube is a great free source for mental health information. But if you can afford it, definitely therapy, definitely reaching out to any like mediums that you might trust, if that's what you're into in particular, you know? Looking into literature, you know, things like that. Like, figure out how you can help yourself and how you can spread what you're learning to others, so you can start helping other people to deal with what's going on with them. Because sometimes it's just knowing what it is. We go through life having these problems and not understanding why we have them, and then once they're labeled, we're able to be like, oh, okay, so much of my life makes sense now, you know? And then figure out ways to combat that, you know? Okay. I want to thank you guys so much for sharing this space with me. Please like the video if you did like it. Leave a comment if it resonated with you. And I will see you guys next time. Let's manifest our best selves for the full moon in Aquarius. Let's do our best to be our most unique self and to figure out ways that we can help the collective. All right. Thanks. Bye.